Hello! Pizza Packs here, and we're back with our third commander deck from Bloomburrow. This is Black-Green Squirreled Away. So, from what I understand, this is the most popular of the decks. So let's see what's in here. This says, Horde Tokens, Squirrels. And this says, this deck is nuts! Oh, because it's squirrels. Of course. Alright, so we've got the pack of goodness, our deck box, and our collector booster sample pack. We will have a video with 16 of these coming up in probably Tuesday, probably on Friday. That'll go out. Kind of been behind on recording, so there's that, but I will try to catch up. Alright, so we got our deck box. Nice themed deck box. It's a little nutty. Let's see them. Squirrels. We have 2 tokens, 6 counters. Pretty standard fare at this point. Got an insert. Insert has stuff and things and stuff. Little blurb about the face commander. Nice portrait of the face commander on one side. Then the other, it's another picture of the face commander. Looking pretty cool, actually. Is that a radish? Turnip. It looks like a turnip. Blurb on playing the deck. Rules of commander. Some ads, you know, pretty standard stuff that we've gotten used to in the bajillion commander products that have been coming out the last couple of years. Then we have star of the show, the deck. Let's see if we can find a quick pull on this. Looks like this is another one of the ones that just didn't get cut correctly. So we'll try from the top. I wonder which critter's planeswalker is going to be in this one. Maybe Braska? What is it? It seems really off-cut. Alright. Let's pull in. Zoom a bit. And refocus. There we go. So starting off, we have Hazel of the Root Bloom. It said Rot Bloom at first. 2 black-green for a 3/5 legendary squirrel druid with tap, pay 2 life, tap X untap tokens you control, add X mana of any combination of colors. Okay. At the beginning of your end step, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. If that token is a squirrel, instead create 2 tokens that are copies of it. Okay. May all your caches be full. That's pretty funny. The Odd Acorn Gang. This is an alternate commander, but 3 black-green for a 5/5 legendary squirrel warrior with menace, trample, reach. Squirrels you control have tap. Target squirrel gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. I really wish they would stop shoving that on the end of everything. You know, cards would be much simpler if they removed do only once per turn and activate only as a sorcery from everything. Like, come on, just design your cards better. You don't have to make everything so damn broken that you have to put those, you know, they're crutches. They're crutches at this point. Sorry, rant over. Whenever 1 or more squirrels you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Yeah, that's a thing. Garrick, Cursed Huntsman. Oh, okay, so yeah, Garrick makes sense. For 4 black-green, you get a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Garrick. For 0, you create 2 black and green wolf creature tokens with, when this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on Garrick, or on each Garrick you control. -3, destroy target creature, draw a card. -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control, get +3/+3, and have trample. Nice. It's not one of the flip ones. Cool. Chittering Witch. 3 and a black for a 2/2 human warlock. When it enters, create a number of 1/1 black rat creature tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. 1 and a black, sacrifice a creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Not too bad. Insatiable Frugivore? Huh. Okay. Frugivore. That's not the right word. But that's fine. 3 and a black for a 2/4 Rat Berserker. When it enters, create a food token. Then you may exile 3 cards from your graveyard. If you do, repeat this process. 3 and a black, sacrifice X foods. Creatures you control get +X/+0 and gain menace until end of turn. Moonstone Eulogist. 3 black for 4/4 Bat Warlock with flying. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you create a blood token. A blood token is an artifact with 1 tap, discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Moonstone Eulogist, and you gain 1 life. Keep in mind that applies to gold tokens, treasure tokens, food, blues, so on and so on and so on. So that gets very big very quickly and can gain you a lot of life. Swarmyard Massacre. 3 black sorcery. Create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Then each creature that isn't an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel gets -1/-1 until end of turn. For each creature you control that's an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Oh, that's referencing the land Swarmyard from Time Spiral. Nice. Hazel's Brewmaster. 3 and a black for 3/4 Squirrel Warlock with Menace. When it enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and create a food token. Foods you control have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Hazel's Brewmaster. Oh no. Sorry about that, I had a tickle in my throat. That is, kind of nuts. Pun intended. That can go infinite so quickly. So easily. Heck, just exiling a single Devoted Druid gives you infinite mana. Wow. Okay. Woe Strider. 2 and a black for a 3/2 horror. When it enters, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. Sacrifice another creature. Scry 1. Escape. 3 black, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. You may play this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Woe Strider escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Saw in Half. This is the first time this has been reprinted. This was originally in Infinity, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this card existing as a legal reprint. Just gonna put that out there. 2 and a black instant, destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their power is half that creature's power, and their toughness is half that creature's toughness, round up each time. So if you do a 1/1, you just get 2 1/1s. But you're not going to do that. You're going to copy something silly. So it's whatever. Ogre Slumlord. 3 black for a 3/3 Ogre Rogue. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may create a 1/1 black rat creature token. Rats you control have Death Touch. Good rat synergy there. Decree of Pain. 6 black sorcery. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. Draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. Cycling 3 black. When you cycle Decree of Pain, all creatures get -2. -2 until end of turn. Gormon's Talent. For green, you get a 3-level class. Level 1, during your turn, artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types, and have 2 tap sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. Level 2, for 2 and a green, whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, create a 3/3 green raccoon creature token. Level 3 is 4 and a green, or 3 and a green, sorry, 3 and a green. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's some stuff. Rootcast Apprenticeship. 3 and a green, sorcery. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Target player creates a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Target opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact. That does a bunch of stuff. Scurry of Squirrels. 2 and a green for a 2/2 Squirrel Scout with Myriad. So double Myriad. Whenever this creature attacks for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of this creature that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. Then do it again. Exile the tokens at the end of combat. So this explains having Myriad twice on it. You don't get to do that twice. It just happens one time for the set. Whenever Scurry of Squirrels deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Indra's Forerunners. 5 green for 7/7 boar with vigilance, trample, haste. When it enters, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance, trample until end of turn. Just a good finisher. It's almost Craterhoof Behemoth, but not quite. Arasta of the Endless Web. 2 green for a 3/5 legendary enchantment creature spider with reach. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. Very nice. Deep Forest Hermit. 3 green for a 1/1 elf druid with vanishing 3. This creature enters with 3 time counters on it at the beginning of your upkeep. Remove a time counter from it. When the last is removed, sacrifice it. Whenever it enters, create 4 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Squirrels you control get +1/+1. Toski, Bearer of Secrets. 3 and a green for a 1/1 legendary creature squirrel. The spell can't be countered. It's indestructible. It attacks each turn if able, or each combat if able. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Keep in mind that draw is not optional. Beastmaster Ascension. 2 and a... excuse me. 2 and a green enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a quest counter on Beastmaster Ascension. As long as it has 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. Used to be a great card in Standard. Second Harvest. 2 green instant. For each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. Nice and simple. Double your tokens. Shamanic Revelation. 3 green sorcery. Draw a card for each creature you control. Ferocious. You gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Chatterfang, Squirrel General. This is one of the most anticipated reprints of the set. This can also be your commander for this, because it does have the green-black color identity. But 2 and a green for 3/3 legendary Squirrel Warrior with Forest Walk. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. So this makes the Hermit create 8 squirrels. Black, sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets +X/-X until end of turn. Casualties of War. 2 black, green, sorcery. Choose one or more. Destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, land, planeswalker. So you can do all the modes, one of the modes, or any combination. Windgrace's Judgment. 3 black, green, instant. For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Maskwood Nexus. This was starting to creep up in price. Good to see that it got a reprint. But 4 mana artifact, creatures you control are every creature type. Same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. 3 tap, create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. It is every creature type. Academy Manufacturer. 3 mana artifact creature assembly worker. It's a 1/3. If you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create 1 of each. Making copies of this artifact makes math get real wonky real fast. Temple of Malady. Enters tapped. It's the black-green temple. Enters tapped. When it enters, you scry 1 and then taps for a green or a black. Woodland Cemetery enters tapped unless you control a swamp or forest. Taps for green or black. Necroblossom Snarl. As it enters, you may reveal a swamp or forest from your hand. If you don't, it enters tapped, then taps for a green or a black. Oran Reef, the Vast Wood. Enters tapped, tap for a green, and then tap to put a +1/+1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn. Yeah. If you have something that lets you untap lands when a creature comes into play, this also does silly stuff. Swarmyard. This really needed a reprint. It had gotten very, very silly on the price for this. It's a land that taps for a colorless and then tap to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. The next time it would be destroyed, instead tap it, remove it from combat, and heal all damage on it. Exotic Orchard. Tap, add 1 mana of any color that an opponent's lands could produce. Llanowar Waste. It's the green-black pain land. Taps for colorless, taps for green or black, and deals 1 damage to you. Grim Backwoods. Nice utility land. Taps for colorless, and then for 2 black-green and tap, sacrifice a creature, you draw a card. Iridescent Bog. Filters 1 mana of any kind into black-green. Twilight Mire taps for colorless and then filters black or green into any combination of black or green. So black, green, or green, green. Gilded Goose. Honk. For a green, you get a 0/2 bird with flying. When it enters, you create a food token. 1 and a green, tap it, create a food token. Tap, sacrifice a food token, add 1 mana of any color. It's a Birds of Paradise for food. Chitter Spitter. No. 2 and a green artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token. If you do, put an acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Squirrels you control get a +1/+1. You get +1/+1 for each acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Green, tap, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Man, I'm just having a hard time today. Maelstrom Pulse. 1 black-green sorcery, destroy target non-land permanent, and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. Beladros Witherbloom. 5 black-green for 4/4 legendary Elder Dragon. Flying. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Pay 10 life, untap all lands you control. Activate only once each turn. That is silly. Idol of Oblivion. 2-mana artifact, tap to draw a card, activate only if a token was created this turn, or only if you created a token this turn. And then 8, tap, sacrifice it, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Sword of the Squeak. 2-mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control with base power or toughness 1. Whenever a hamster, mouse, rat, or squirrel you control enters, you may attach Sword of the Squeak to that creature. Equip 2. It's referencing Sword of the Meek, and this makes me sad. But we're going to pretend that doesn't exist. Morbid Opportunist. 2 and a black for a 1/3 human rogue. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability only triggers once each turn. Plague Crafter. 2 and a black for a 3/2 human shaman. When it enters, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. Nadir's Nightblade. 2 and a black for a 1/3 elf warrior. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1. Plum the Forbidden. 1 and a black instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature you sacrifice this way. You draw a card and lose 1 life. So a great way to refill. Trigger a bunch of death triggers. Bastion of Remembrance. 2 and a black enchantment. Whenever it enters, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Thing you can trigger. Cash Grab, which is what this entire set has been. 1 and a green, instant, mill 4 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you control a squirrel or returned a squirrel card to your hand this way, create a food token. Okay, Shatterstorm. 1 and a green, sorcery. Create a green squirrel creature token. Squirrel. Storm. It has storm, not squirrel. But you do create a squirrel. Moldervine Reclamation. 3 black-green, enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Keep in mind, neither of those are optional. Poison Tip Archer. 2 black-green for a 2/3 elf archer with reach and death touch. Whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Ravenous Squirrel. Hybrid black-green for a 1/1 squirrel. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact or creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Ravenous Squirrel. 1 black-green. Sacrifice an artifact or creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Skyfisher Spider. 2 black-green for a 3/3 spider with reach. When it enters, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. Whenever it dies, you may gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. If you do, exile Skyfisher Spider from your graveyard. Binding the Old Gods. 2 black-green for a 3-chapter saga. Chapter 1, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Chapter 2, search your library for a forest card, put onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Chapter 3, creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. Nice. Golgari Rot Farm. It's the black-green Karu. So it enters tapped. When it enters, you return a land you control to its owner's hand, and it taps for black-green. So it taps for 2 mana. That's nice. Jungle Hollow. Enters tapped. When it enters, you gain a life. Tap for a black or a green. Haunted Mire. It is a swamp forest that enters tapped. Nested Shambler. For a black, you get a 1/1 zombie with, when it dies, create X tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens where X is Nested Shambler's power. Deadly Dispute. Fantastic common that has been very expensive since it was printed, but 1 in a black instant is an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure token. Just all good. Zulaport Cutthroat. 1 in a black for a 1/1 human rogue ally. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Nice. Squirrel Sovereign. 1 in a green for a 2/2 Squirrel Noble. Other squirrels you control get +1/+1. Prosperous Innkeeper. Hey, it's got new art. 1 in a green for a 1/1 Halfling Citizen. Whenever it enters, create a treasure token. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain a life. Haywire Might. This is actually still in standard. For 1, you get a 1/1 artifact creature insect. When it dies, you gain 2 life. For green and sacrifice it, exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Very nice. Tireless Provisioner. 2 in a green for a 3/2 Elf Scout with landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, create a food token or a treasure token. Squirrel Nest. This used to be one of the things that you would combo with Earthcraft to just make infinite squirrels. But 1 green, enchantment aura, enchant land. Enchanted land has tap, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Don't look at the price of Earthcraft. It'll make you mad. Or at least it made me mad. I hadn't looked at it in quite a while. And, yeah. It's not happy about it. Honored Dray Leader. 2 in a green for a 1/1 Squirrel Warrior with Trample. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each other squirrel and or food you control. Whenever another squirrel or food you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Honored Dray Leader. Yep, it just keeps growing. Tear Asunder, also in standard. 1 in a green, instant, kicker, 1 in a black. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If the spell is kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. Wolfwillow Haven. 1 in a green, enchantment aura, enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green. 4 in a green, sacrifice Wolfwillow Haven. Create a 2/2 wolf creature token. Activate only during your turn. Putrefy. 1 black green instant, destroy target artifact or creature. It cannot be regenerated. Arcane Signet. 2 mana artifact. It's a mana rock for your commander's color identity. Golgari Signet. 2 mana artifact. Filters 1 of any color to black green. Talisman of Resilience. It's a 2 mana rock that taps for colorless and then taps for black or green and deals 1 damage to you. Just a mana rock for Llanowar waste, basically. Soul Ring. We all know what this does. 1 mana artifact that taps for 2. Skull Clamp. Oh man, they put Skull Clamp in here. Another card that had actually crept up a little bit in price. But 1 mana artifact equipment when it enters, or doesn't do anything when it enters. Equipped creature gets +1/-1. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards, equip 1. This just can machine gun through tokens to draw you a ton of cards. Terramorphic Expanse. Taps for... you tap and sacrifice it to search for basic, put into play tap, then shuffle. Path of Ancestry. Enters tapped. Taps through commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Evolving Wilds. Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds are just copies of one another, basically. Oh, tap and sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land, put it into play tapped, then shuffle. Command Tower. It's a land that taps for your commander's color identity. If you're playing Commander and don't know what this is, I don't know what to tell you. It's in literally every Commander precon. Tranquil Thicket. Enters tapped, taps for a green, cycles for a green. Jukabog. Probably one of the best utility lands ever printed on its own. Enters tapped. When it enters, exile target player's graveyard. Tap for a black. Tainted Wood. Taps for a colorless, and then taps for a black or a green. Activate only if you control a swamp. Baron Moor. Enters tapped, taps for a black, cycles for a black. Now we have our basics. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we have 8 swamps. Man, I am out of it today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forests. And then we have some tokens. All right, we have some squirrel tokens. 1/1 squirrels that are treasures, and 2 are treasures, 1's a food. Okay, then we have an Eldrazi token. That's a clue. A pest token. It's a shapeshifter. Spider token. That's a blood token. Don't think he's a gang member. That would be a little strange. Human soldier. A 1/1 human soldier. That's a black-green wolf on the back. 1/1 rat. That's a raccoon on the back. That's a cool looking raccoon. Oh, man, his club has forks in it. That's silly. The more I look at this, the more I'm... What? Another rat. That's also a raccoon. And then a goat. That's a wolf. Very nice. And then turn order reminder and popular magic formats. That is Squirreled Away. So let me get a cool Garrick in there. That's pretty neat. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. Apologies for the saltiness. And the constant muting. Man, I'm just having a go with it today. But, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. It really helps the channel, and we are pushing to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, how about, subscribing? It really helps us out and helps me bring more stuff like this to all of you. But most importantly, until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.